We read news every day. News that's informative, but rarely encouraging. The InterMountain Christian newspaper aims to change that. They present the news you need to know, from what's going on in your community to your world, with encouraging words, motivation, and the resources you need to make positive changes in your life. What is your local government doing that you need to know about? What's happening in your community you need to be a part of? Whether it's a story from your neighborhood, a national story, or an encouraging word, you'll find biblical issues of everyday life in the InterMountain Christian newspaper. InterMountain Christian News is produced and supported by the work and donations of individuals and churches. You'll find it at churches, Christian bookstores, by subscription, and online at IMCNH07012016. To find out more about supporting this local resource, go online at IMCNews.org or call InterMountain Christian News in Boise, Idaho at 208-703-8688. The InterMountain Christian News, a voice sharing the truth on matters dear to people's hearts.
Are you tired of the secular news? Do you want a Christian view of politics? Do you want to know what is going on in your Christian community? Your wait is over. Welcome to the InterMountain Christian News Hour. Here is your host, Dr. Anthony Harper.
I'm Dr. Anthony Harper here with the InterMountain Christian News Hour, making a difference because we are a voice of truth, and we have a lot of challenging issues to deal with. And I'm blessed today to talk with Mr. Wayne Root, and to talk about things that are happening in our nation, very serious times that we are facing. And Mr. Root, thank you for joining me again.
Hey, Anthony, great to be on with you.
Well, thank you. I know you have a great website, and what is that for our listeners to learn more about what you do in getting the truth out?
Well, my website is rootforamerica.com because, of course, that's my last name, Root, R-O-O-T, and it's also what I do all day. I root for America, and I fight for America. I fight relentlessly. Rootforamerica.com, and, of course, my book is The Power of Relentless, which is available at Amazon.com or any fine bookstore. And the big news is my new book comes out August 23rd, right in the middle of the run-up to the election, and should be the biggest news in America, I think, throughout the election. My book, Ultimate Obama Survival Guide, in 2013, number one book in the country. I think this one will be number one again. It's called Angry White Male. I guarantee you it'll be controversial.
There's an angry white male.
That's what I am. I'm an angry white male. There's actually a chapter that you'll like called Angry White Christian Male. And there's nothing in the book negative about anybody else. There's nothing anti-black. There's nothing anti-Hispanic. What it is just a defense of the last group left in America, of which I am a part. I happen to be born white. Nothing I could do about that. I don't feel guilty about it. I don't feel shame about it. I'm proud of it. And it's the last group you're allowed to be prejudiced and racist against, and nobody complains and nobody cares. And that's what this book is. I think I speak for tens of millions of angry white males who will be voting for Donald Trump, knowing that the middle class is being destroyed and we're being targeted and persecuted, and no one cares about us in the media or in politics. They only care about themselves, and they care about minorities, and they care about Muslims, and they care about foreigners and illegals. But who cares about a guy who's white, middle-aged, and middle class, and just goes to work every day, like my dad. I'm a son of a butcher. My dad every day went to work his whole life, never got divorced, lived married 50 years to my mom, then he died. What did he ever get for being a good guy? Nothing. And after a while, you become angry. You become bitter. You go, what's your reward for being a good person and doing everything society asks? But if you do drugs, it's okay. It's a weakness. It's an addiction. Send them to rehab. Society should spend millions on you. If you commit crimes, it's not your fault. Everything's an excuse except for the people who do it right, and no one cares about them. That's why I wrote this book.
I know there's a lot of growing anger in our nation. I want to remind people a little bit about you, a little background. You attended the same college that President Obama was supposed to have attended. Was it Columbia University?
Columbia University, Columbia, class of 83. We both graduated theoretically on the same day. I'm assuming he did, by the way. I've always said that he's listed on the graduation ceremony. O for Obama is right next to R for Root. So it was just 3 people away from me on this graduation ceremony was Barack Hussein Obama, and then 3 later, Wayne Allen Root. Kind of amazing. But again, it shows you what a great country this is, that two guys coming from nothing families with no money and no connections both graduated this great school, Columbia University, and Barack Obama went on to become president of the United States. I went on to win the Libertarian vice presidential nomination. I went on to become a self-made millionaire businessman, an entrepreneur and a best-selling author and a producer of several hit TV shows. I mean, I've done amazing things in this country too, and we both came from nothing. I may be white from nothing and he may be black from nothing, but we both made it in America, which disputes his argument that there's such terrible racism in America. Anybody and everybody can make it if you just have a little talent. And so, we both did come with very different ideas and very different philosophies and outlooks on life, but we both did come from Columbia University, that class of 83. I never saw him there, never heard of him, never met anyone who knew him. That's a whole other story, a strange one, a mysterious one, and a worrisome one, but all I could tell you is we both graduated on the same day from the same college.
Wow, that's very involved, and what an experience that was. And I thank God that you've been able to accomplish all these great things. And there are several issues that we could talk about today. I think about one of them is Donald Trump. Is really hot in the news. We're faced with the choice: Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. And Dr. James Dobson, made a comment on his website here just recently. I saw that in Christian Newswire yesterday. The title is Dr. James Dobson on Donald Trump's Christian faith. Recently, there was supposed to have been someone praying with him to receive Christ as a Savior, which I do hope is true. He refers to Trump as being a man that is a baby Christian at this point, just a new believer. I do hope and pray that is a reality, and that he will surround himself with good Christian leaders to support him. He needs a lot of wisdom, but there are a lot of people upset because Senator Cruz is not in the mix here and allowed to be on this ticket. I think there's been a lot of concern that maybe some Christians might stay home because Senator Cruz is not involved. What do you think of the likelihood of Donald Trump choosing Senator Cruz as a vice president choice to gather all those other votes, Senator Cruz supporters?
Well, look, I'm a big Ted Cruz fan from the standpoint that we have the same politics.
Uh-huh.
And we've always had the same politics. I mean, I've been a Ted Cruz Republican conservative, or a Barry Goldwater, or you might say a Ronald Reagan Republican conservative for my whole adult life. I appreciate everything Ted Cruz did in the U.S. Senate. I chose Donald Trump as my candidate since last spring. I've never, ever, ever wavered. I thought he was the best candidate for President of the United States. I don't base it just on what you believe in. The most perfect candidate for me, Anthony, is certainly, on views that match, is certainly Ted Cruz. I never thought he was the right candidate to win the nomination. I never thought he would win the nomination, and I never thought he could win the presidency because I don't think America will accept a straight conservative anymore. I don't mean straight as in straight or gay. I mean straight as in party line conservative on every issue. I think you need to be a little bit different. I think you need to be an entertainer. You need to be a showman. You need to be a businessman. You need to be kind of a rabble-rouser. You need to be a reality TV star. And then along comes a guy who fits all of that. I've been recommending it for years, and along comes Donald Trump, who is a reality TV star and a rabble-rouser.
Yeah.
Someone who I think, stirs things up and crosses party lines. I don't think Ted Cruz would have ever crossed party lines and gotten working-class Democrats to vote for him. But I think Donald Trump, by being a combination of conservative and populist and America First nationalist, who wants to change trade policy and build a wall and understands the two biggest issues in America, in my opinion, are globalization and immigration. I think that guy gets millions of working-class white Democrats to switch over and vote for him, and that's the only possible way a Republican can win the White House anymore. So I think he's the right guy. I'd love Ted Cruz as the VP. I'd recommend Donald Trump pick Ted Cruz as the VP. I don't think he's going to because I think he knows Ted Cruz would say no. I don't think it's Donald's fault that Ted's not the VP. I think it's Ted's fault. I think Ted makes it very clear he dislikes Donald. He'll eventually probably endorse him for president because I don't see any other choice if you're a Republican senator, and Hillary Clinton could be the next candidate if she's not indicted. But that if Donald were to choose Ted, I don't think he'd be confident Ted would say yes, and that would be embarrassing. So unless there's been some behind-the-scenes conversations and negotiations I don't know about, and Ted said, listen, don't worry about it, I'd say yes, name me, and maybe that's happened, I don't know about it, but if it is, I'd be thrilled. I'd love it to be a ticket of Donald Trump and Ted Cruz, But I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they like each other, and I think Ted especially doesn't like Donald even more than Donald doesn't like Ted. So it probably can't happen, I'm disappointed to say. But it would certainly unite conservatives and Christians, and it would be a good thing. But guess what? I think Donald can name Newt Gingrich and accomplish the exact same thing. I think Christians like Newt Gingrich. I certainly think conservatives loved Newt Gingrich. I think he fits the bill of what Donald said. He wanted someone who has experience in Washington, D.C., is a deal maker, knows how to cut deals on the floor of the Congress. So Newt could be the answer, too, I think. So there's a lot of choices out there. We'll see. If I had my druthers, I would rather it be someone who was female or Hispanic or black. To be honest with you, I think the Republican Party has to be more. Even me, the author of Angry White Male, thinks the Republican Party has got to appeal to something other than just angry white men. We've already got that with Donald Trump. Have more of that with Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is not attractive to women, blacks, or Hispanics. And we need someone who is attractive to women, blacks, and Hispanics to win an election.
What about Dr. Carson?
I like Ben Carson. I'm a personal friend of Ben Carson. I've always had him in my top 3 list of who would make a good VP for Donald Trump. So I hope he's in the top 5 or the top 3. I certainly think he'd be a great finalist. If not, he'll make a great cabinet member. No question, he'll be one of the top cabinet members of this administration. He's proved himself a loyal, good friend to Donald. So he's great.
So Dr. Carson could draw the support of the Hispanics and the blacks?
I don't know if I'd say that. I mean, I think he'd be a great running mate because he's a great person. I mean, he's a great American. Who has a greater story than Ben Carson?
Yeah.
You know, black, inner city kid, no money, violent as a kid, and he winds up being the greatest brain surgeon in the world. Again, proving how great America is. It's a great story, and would it be attractive to some black voters? Maybe, I hope. I don't know if you saw, Anthony, the latest poll from Quinnipiac, which shows a dead tie between Hillary and Donald. But inside, dig down a little bit, and it's got white voters, black voters, women, men. The black vote was the most frightening thing I've ever seen. 91% for Hillary, 1% for Donald.
Oh, no.
I mean, I've never heard of a number like that. 91-1. You just go, that can't happen. That has to be a fictional movie, right? In real life, that's the number. Would Ben move the dial a little bit, Ben Carson? Maybe he'd get it from 91-1 to maybe Donald would go from 1 to 5. But when you're that far down, I don't know that you can ever get out of that hole. I think the bright spot of the poll was the Hispanic vote isn't bad at all. The Hispanic vote was, I believe, 50 to 33, if my memory serves me, which means Donald Trump's doing better with Hispanics than either Mitt Romney or John McCain. That's amazing. So if he were to work on Hispanics from now through November, he might raise that 50 to 33 might suddenly become, 43 to, 47 to 40 or something. Something reasonably close, and that would win the election. So if I was advising Donald, I would say work on Hispanics from now to November, and always work on black voters. Don't ever abandon any group, but place your money and your stress on the low-lying fruit, meaning the group that you have the chance to convert, not the one that seems almost impossible, and the black vote certainly appears impossible. I would go for that Hispanic vote, and I think Donald could still do well appealing to legal Hispanics with jobs who don't want welfare, who don't want millions of more people pouring over the border to compete for jobs with them. That's Donald's group that could put him over the top, and I think they will, and he will.
Okay, for the black voters, trying to reach them. I'm curious about if a lot of the black people are voting for Hillary because regarding some entitlement issues.
Well, look, who knows all the many reasons? I know the reasons they should be excited about Donald Trump, not Hillary, because there are no black jobs. Their great hero, the first black president, created no jobs for black people. If he did, then how do you explain black unemployment as double white unemployment under Barack Obama, the first black president? He did nothing for you. He did you no favors. He did you lots of favors by getting you more entitlements, more people in the history on food stamps and welfare and disability and unemployment. But if that's what you want, if that's all you're looking for, then I guess Obama's your man, and I guess Hillary will be your woman. But I don't think that's what anyone's looking for. I don't believe any black person's looking for a handout if they could get a job. So I think Donald needs to make the point that he could be the jobs president for black Americans, not the handout president. Yes. If you want to continue on food stamps, then Hillary's your girl. If you want to continue, if you want to move on to a job and self-esteem, then I'm your man. So I really do believe that's the kind of message. And also, you don't have a job, specifically and directly because the border's wide open and millions of foreigners have come across it and they've taken your jobs, leaving you with nothing, no choice but welfare. So my choice as Donald Trump to build a wall is directly good for black Americans. It's really good. It cuts down the competition for jobs and lower wages. So I think he needs to make those points. What did voting for Barack Obama do for you? You have double unemployment with whites. And I think he should make a guarantee. He should guarantee, Donald Trump should say, Donald Trump, guarantee that by the end of my first 4-year term, black unemployment will be the same as white. You'll be in the exact same neighborhood, or don't vote for me and throw me out. Call me a liar. But I'm willing to make that guarantee on national TV right now. And I think that would open some minds maybe and make a difference. But in general, I would aim my ads and my campaign at Hispanic Americans. I would hold Hispanic town halls all across America and really face Hispanic voters and let them ask you any question they want and always have the same answer. I'm not against Hispanics. I'm against illegals. Two completely different things. I love legal Hispanics. I don't think it's fair that anyone came to America illegally and thinks they should jump to the front of the line. Right. I think it's bad for America and bad for you.
Okay, but there's a couple other hot issues is Brexit as well. But the European Union, the United Kingdom is dropped out of that. And there's a lot of distrust for European Union, not very supportive of Israel, by the way. And so with, United Kingdom breaking off from that, think about other things that people might want to break off for. It might be the relationship with the United Nations, and also as this North American trade agreement as well.
Well, I mean, look, the only conclusion I draw from Brexit is that it's fantastic for Donald Trump. It's fantastic for the American people. Uh-huh. I mean, the American people have got to just, be given a boost of confidence by Brexit. If the British people would do something that no one expected them to do, that no pollster expected them to do, no expert, no strategist, no politician, and the American people are the revolutionary people. We fought the revolution against the British. They're not revolutionary people. They've never fought a revolution against any monarchy in their lives. They accept the fact that they have a king or a queen. They accept the fact that they're under that kind of iron-fisted rule. We ran away from it. So if they could do against all odds what they did with Brexit, then can you imagine what the American people? We should be given a boost of confidence, a shot in the arm, that we could vote for Donald Trump, who is like a living embodiment of Brexit. Donald Trump is Trexit. He's the Trump exit from the American government. And if they could do that, we could do that. So I knew the next poll out after Brexit would be very favorable to Donald. I thought he might be tied or ahead by a little. And the first poll I saw after Brexit was Quinnipiac. I think it's pronounced Quinnipiac. And that showed him dead even within the margin of error. The second poll was Rasmussen just yesterday, and it showed Donald Trump up by 4 points. And I want to make this point, Anthony. He hasn't spent any money. Hillary Clinton has had like $100 million to trash Donald Trump in the last month. And Donald Trump hasn't raised or spent a cent yet. And he's had the entire American media destroying him and trashing him along with Hillary's ads. And he's either dead even or up by 4. Hillary is in so much trouble. Her people have got to be in panic mode. If she was up by 10 now, I would think she was in trouble because he hasn't spent money yet. Wait till he trains his cannons on her. I know Donald Trump, and I'm telling you that he will eventually spend like $1 billion. And he hasn't spent any of it yet, which means he's going to unload all of it in the last month of the campaign. He's going to find a way to raise it or get it himself, or take loans against his buildings and get a loan. But whatever he's going to do to find the money, he's going to bury her under an avalanche of negative advertising the entire October and first week of November. And she's done. So if I was Hillary, I would be petrified. She should be up by double digits right now, and she'd still be in trouble. Instead, she's either tied or behind. Oh, is she in trouble?
Yeah, it's very alarming what is going on here. I think about regarding the Brexit issue again. I saw an op-ed piece in an Israel news service yesterday about a comment about sovereignty. So the Brexit issue was the sovereignty of the UK, and also thinking about the sovereignty of the U.S. as well. And I know that Donald Trump supports sovereignty.
Well, I mean, look, the definition to me of sovereignty, some people may know what it means. It's, your country is your country. We're not a one world situation. I don't want to be under UN rule. I don't want to be under EU rule. I don't want to be under TP, Trans-Pacific Partnership rule. I don't believe in any of that. I believe in America, and I believe America has to determine its own destiny. And the British people at Brexit did that. It was Britain first. I think we'll vote for Trump. It'll be America first.
Right.
And for once, we'll fight for the middle class. And Donald Trump's against TPP. He's the only leading politician I know. He's the only Republican. Forget about Democrats. All the Democrats were for TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership. That treaty is a disaster for America, but every Republican I know of, I believe Ted Cruz voted for TPP. I'm pretty sure, his initials had initial support for it, and I believe he voted for Fast Track for it. But if I'm wrong, then Ted's the only other one besides Donald Trump that was against it. I know Marco Rubio voted for it, and I know Jeb Bush was for it, and all the establishment figures were for it. And Paul Ryan's for it, and Mitch McConnell's for it, and John Boehner before them was for it. And it's poison. It's just like Obamacare. It's thousands of pages, and inside those pages, the devil's in the details, as they say. And there's all kinds of things that destroy American sovereignty in there, and we cannot allow TPP to come to pass. Trump is very anti-TPP. He believes it'll help kill our jobs and bring them overseas and kill American jobs. And that's what is happening. All these treaties and these trade deals and the wide open border are killing American jobs. So I am for sovereignty. I'm for America first. I'm for, fighting globalization and immigration. We don't need any more illegal immigrants. We can take a few legal immigrants, limited each year, but we no longer need illegal immigrants, nor do we need legal Muslim immigrants by the 100,000 plus per year. That's insanity.
Yeah.
So, globalization, all bad for America, I'm sorry to say. If it was good, I'd say it's good. Here's something I learned yesterday. I don't know everything. I learn things every day. I try and be a person that studies facts. I found out yesterday that inside the actual TPP, it actually states what it'll do for the economy. Anthony, would you believe it if I told you that the people behind TPP, all the economists, actually admit that for the first 15 years of TPP, the United States GDP will grow because of it less than 0.5%, not per year, total over the entire 15 years, which means it produces zero good growth, economic growth for the United States for 15 years in a row. Why would anybody support it? What does it do for us? Why would I want to give away my sovereignty for something that even the people behind it admit doesn't improve our economy and therefore must kill jobs? What a stupid idea. As Donald Trump would say, are we dumb?
Yeah.
I'm Dr. Anthony Harper here with the InterMountain Christian News Hour, wanting to share the gospel message with you. It is clear that you hear the message and respond as soon as possible. In John 3:16, it says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever would believe in him would not perish, but have everlasting life." Please humble yourself today and admit your sins and ask Jesus to forgive you of your sins and be your Savior today before it's too late. If you died today without Jesus, you would be lost forever in hell, which does exist, contrary to what you've heard from Oprah Winfrey and so many others. Please respond today. To learn more about having a relationship with Jesus, you can check out our website, imcnews.org, and at the top left of our website, you'll see a Who is Jesus banner ad, so you can click on that for more information. Also, you can call 24/7, this toll-free number, 1-888-NEED-HIM. And there's also a website, www.needhim.org. Once again, that 24/7 telephone number, toll-free, 1-888-NEED-HIM.
Are you tired of the secular news? Do you want a Christian view of politics? Do you want to know what is going on in your Christian community? Your wait is over. Welcome to the InterMountain Christian News Hour. Here is your host, Dr. Anthony Harper.
Hopefully we're not done in here. We really need to pray for a miracle here in America for people to be responsible and vote intelligently. And Franklin Graham is trying to get the vote out and encourage people to be responsible. So pray for a miracle this year, and I thank you for joining me, Mr. Root, for Root for America.
Root for America is the website, and that's what I do. I root for America, rootforamerica.com, and the book is The Power of Relentless, and you could pre-order my new one right now, Angry White Male, with a great chapter in there, a great section I think you'll like, Angry White Christian Mail. And it is available at Amazon.com for pre-order as we speak right now. I guarantee it'll be the #1 book in America during election season. So get your hands on it. It's got some great solutions for America. By the way, you know what my solutions are called? God, guns, gold, tax cuts, and term limits. That's what the whole section's called. That's what it's all about. You got to believe in God. You have a faith in God. Believe in Judeo-Christian values. And you got to get your hands on gold, because I think that's the currency that will go up, do nothing but go up for the next 20 years due to debt. And you got to have a gun. You got to have self-defense. You got to protect the Second Amendment. You got to cut people's taxes, especially small business, and you got to term limit the politicians. If you do those things, we can still turn around and save America. And that's what my book is dedicated to: solutions to save America for the middle class. It's called Angry White Male. It's out August 23rd, and you can pre-order it on Amazon now.
Well, thank you, Mr. Root. Appreciate you spreading the word about, if you haven't heard about the Decision America tour with Franklin Graham. It's really spreading around, being a great response by a lot of wonderful people here. So we have a lot to deal with, and time is urgent. And I appreciate you getting the truth out. So. And
Franklin's a great man, and so are you. Thank you for having me on, Anthony.
Thank you.
God bless.
See you later. Bye.
I'm Dr. Anthony Harper here with the InterMountain Christian News Hour, an outreach of the InterMountain Christian newspaper, making a difference. And we need your support of good news. Check out our website at imcnews.org, where you can download our newspaper and make your tax-deductible donation to support our voice, our Christian concerns at the White House and in Israel and other places. Do go online to make your donation and to support this important news ministry, the only evangelical Christian newspaper of its kind, a grassroots newspaper in our Intermountain regions, spanning from Colorado over to Reno, Nevada. And we currently have needs to cover our travel expenses for White House and Israel trips. And also, we need a donated minivan, a vehicle, a good condition, low mileage, air conditioning, and automatic transmission for delivery of our newspapers and other news events that we go to cover, representing Christian concerns. So please make your donation, tax deductible, online at imcnews.org, just by clicking on the donate banner ad that you see there. Thank you for your support of our good newspaper and for your prayers, most importantly, that we can continue to be a voice of truth for Christians in our Intermountain region, for the glory of God.